Hello, everybody. We are the students at University of Technology, Malaysia. We are studying a course, Malaysian Society and Culture, in our program. And Dr. FAIZAH is teaching us this course, and we have been given a group assignment, which is Indian Malaysian Cultural Taboos. We are 7 members in the group. I will want to introduce a short introduction of each one of us before I start the presentation about the topic. Myself, Tahir Hakim, in PhD in Information Systems, first year. Then we have Ms. Sohra, she's a master's student from Iraq. Then we have Mr. Ali Hamadi, he's from Oman, he's studying his PhD. Then we got Mr. Muhammad Mustafa, he's from Nigeria. We have 2 guys from Pakistan. The first one is Mr. Hafiz Othman. And then we got Mr. Ayaz Ahmad, who's studying PhD. And finally, we have Mr. Muhammad Hossam, who is actually from Syria, living in Saudi Arabia. So these are our members. So basically, what is the taboo? Indian Malaysian cultural taboos. A taboo is an activity that is forbidden or sacred based on religious beliefs or morals. So a taboo can vary from one society to another society, one culture to another culture. Sometimes a taboo in one culture is not a taboo in another culture, and vice versa. So in every society, people practice different types of taboos. In our case, we shall talk about Indian Malaysian cultural taboos. Here are a few examples. Leather products or alcoholic taboos. This is the first one where they consider it's a taboo to give a leather or an alcoholic as a gift to an Indian Malaysian person. Certain types of flowers are considered to be taboos, and they have a certain meaning in the culture. Certain colors are considered to be appropriate and certain inappropriate when it comes to wrapping the gift items with the paper. For example, red, yellow, green are appropriate, and black and white are inappropriate, as they are considered to be signs of bad omen. Next, we shall talk about not eating at dark places taboo. It's believed in Indian Malaysian culture that if someone will eat in the dark place, the ghosts and the spirits, they stay at dark places, resulting at they will eat some of the food or half of the food, and the person who is eating in the dark places will not be able to fill his stomach and might result in getting weak, and he's not getting enough nutrients. Then we have not sharpening a pencil from both sides, as it's believed in Indian Malaysian culture that if the children will sharpen the pencil on both the sides, this will result in a quarrel between their parents. Of course, when we talk about the taboos, sometimes some taboos have a scientific meaning. Sometimes there are morals that make sense. Sometimes there are some things which we do not comprehend normally because they have some religious beliefs which might not be scientific many a times. All right, next we shall talk about do not whistle at the night lest it will lure snakes into the house. So this has a good moral. If people will make noise, do not whistle means making noise during night. So it will bother the people living near us who are our neighbors. So it will result in their anger. There are certain taboos related to numerological and astrological beliefs which are being practiced by Indian Malaysian culture. And there are certain specific number related taboos as well, like number 3 and 13. And there are some taboos related to cutting your hair or not cutting your hair in certain days of a week. And another taboo that we discussed, the last one in our list, which is lime and chili taboo. They believe that lime and chili will protect you from an evil eye. They will hang lime and chili outside their door or even in their cars. So as I said already, that some taboos have the meaning, scientific meaning. Sometimes some taboos are just practiced because of a set of beliefs that can be religious beliefs or the cultural beliefs. So many times what happens is some taboos will have a moral or a meaning which is good for a society. Sometimes there might be no meaning, or maybe we are not able to understand it based on other people's culture or their religious beliefs. So we shall discuss more of the Indian Malaysian cultural taboos here. Indian Malaysian cultural taboos are a product of the cultural integration between Indians and Malaysians and give them their ethnic and uh, racial identity. So some of the morals from the Indian Malaysian cultural taboos are as follows. All right, number one, avoid giving leather gifts or alcohol as it may hurt religious sentiments of an Indian Malaysian, because this is related to their religious sentiments, as they believe that some animals like cow are one of the gods in Hindu theology. Also, avoid frangipani flower, which is genus Plumeria, as a gift to an Indian Malaysian, as they use it on funerals. So if somebody will give them this kind of gift, it will immediately make them feel that it's a sign of a bad omen, since they use this kind of things on funerals. And then we have colors of fortune and colors of misfortune. So they consider colors of fortune as red, yellow, and green, and the misfortune are black and white. So when we this is applies for the this applies for the wrapping, the gifts, when you use a paper to wrap the gifts. So make sure that you don't wrap gifts with white or black, as they consider black and white as a misfortune. Eating at dark places, as they believe that dark places are, these spirits and the ghosts, they stay in the dark places, and the reason behind this is, once the spirit and devils, or once the spirits and ghosts are at the dark places, they will eat some from your food, and resulting you not to be filled fully, and a person may suffer from the weakness. Then we have do not whistle at night, as it will lure snakes. At home means do not make noise basically during night, as it will disturb your neighbors, which may result them in being angry and make trouble to you. It's possible. Then we shall talk about certain numbers are believed to be a sign of bad omen. Therefore, one must learn these numbers in order not to harm the religious sentiments of an Indian Malaysian fellow. Indian Malaysians do not cut their hair in certain days of a week, as it's believed that doing so may shorten their or your lifetime, or lessen one's wisdom. And the last one that we discussed was the hanging lemons and chilies. Is believed to protect people from evil eye. So Indian people, they will hang the lemons and chilies together outside their doors, even in front of their car bumpers, or also on the motorcycles, etc. Later, we did a comparison analysis between the Indian Malaysian culture and some of the cultures and the cultural taboos of Iraq, Saudi Arabia, Pakistan, Oman, and Nigeria, the countries where our group members come from. And we found that there is a great difference in the cultural taboos of the countries in comparison of our list. Sometimes a taboo can put a person in a trouble. Therefore, it is suggested that people learn about the cultural taboos before they move to a new place. I will briefly go through some of the taboos practiced in other cultures of these countries. Let's say in Iraq, few of them are: avoid rude language in Iraq, avoid dirty jokes in Iraq, avoid passing food by left hand in Iraq, avoid refusing gifts in Iraq. In Pakistan, the taboos we found were: avoid being rude about religion in Pakistan, avoid making fun of the state of the Pakistan, as they are very patriotic, avoid passing food by left hand in Pakistan. Then in Saudi Arabia, we learned that make sure to put off your shoes outside the Saudi house. Do not use left hand to give or take things. Avoid calling elderly people by their first name. Do not refuse a gift. No shaking hands with opposite sex. This can, land someone in a big trouble. In Nigeria, we found that not shaking hand with the king, it's a taboo. Killing, eating some symbolic animals. They have some symbolic animals. You are not supposed to kill them. Adultery can lead to death penalty in Nigeria. It's possible. Handshaking, giving and accepting things with the left hand is a taboo in Nigeria. And then in Oman, we learned that do not offer an alcoholic drink to an Omani. Avoid talking about divorce in public as it's considered as a taboo. Imprisonment for homosexuality, do not talk about it. So there is a possibility that people will be put in the prison if they talk about homosexuality. Do not point your finger at someone rather than call them verbally. Do not try to have a mixed gender activity in Oman. We did an analysis from different perspectives. The perspectives that we did were socio-cultural perspective, religious perspective, religious pluralism and the state, Islam in Malaysia, Buddhism in Malaysia, Hinduism in Malaysia, and Sikhism in Malaysia. In socio-cultural perspective, in Malaysia, ethnic divisions are continuous with its linguistic, cultural, religious, and economic differences. Malaysian society individuals hold different cultural orientations, norms, and values according to their ethnicity. In religious perspective, Islam is the federal religion of Malaysia and has the largest following among the population. The geographic population of Malaysia on the main historic shipping routes between Indian, Arab, and European regions on the one side, and China and Japan on the other side. Religious pluralism and the state. The religious pluralism of Malaysia means that religious identity is often an important aspect of an individual, especially due to the association between ethnic and religious identity. While an individual's ethnicity does not always necessarily reflect their religious affiliation. Hinduism in Malaysia, like Buddhism, Hinduism was brought to Malaysia more than 2 millennia ago by early Indian traders, which forms the third largest ethnic group in Malaysia. Buddhism in Malaysia, both Buddhism and Hinduism were introduced to Malaysians over 2 millennia ago by Indian traders, but Buddhism is the second largest ethnic group in Malaysia. Here are some Hinduism and Buddhist places of worship in Malaysia. In conclusion, we found that the Indian-Malaysian taboos face a great contrast with taboos of other cultures. Since the members of this group come from two different continents with Asia and Africa, whereas in Asia we have members from Arab and non-Arab countries and our African friend comes from the west of Africa, making it an interesting comparison of taboos of different cultures. The countries that our members come from are Nigeria, Pakistan, Saudi Arabia, Iraq, Oman, India, and Syria. We observed that Indian and Malaysian people face a cultural shock while exposing to the above mentioned places. Thank you very much.